For the last year, a loud debate has consumed Silicon Valley and Wall Street. One side is certain artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution, but the other side is equally certain the entire industry is a fragile financial illusion, ready to pop. But to test the strength of that illusion, you need to look at a single piece of data from one specific company, Anthropic. This chart tracks Anthropic's annual recurring revenue, the predictable money they make from subscriptions and enterprise contracts. In December of 2025, they were sitting at roughly $9 billion. Then, by March 2026, the line spikes almost straight up, hitting nearly $20 billion. To understand the gravity of that math, look at the timeline on the bottom axis. That entire leap happens in just 90 days. Doubling a company's revenue when they make a few $1,000,000 is a standard tech success story. But doubling it when the baseline is already $9 billion is a mathematical anomaly. We can lay the growth curves of the biggest tech booms in history over this exact same grid. Look at the early dot-com stars or the rise of the massive cloud computing giants. Their lines trail far below, taking years to climb the same distance. Anthropic's trajectory towers over them. Financial analysts looking at this data have reached a stark conclusion. There is no record of any corporate entity scaling at this velocity, at this massive size. What makes this math truly strange is the identity of the company behind it. Anthropic did not build its brand on aggressive expansion. They are widely known as the industry's loudest single voice, advocating for strict caution, safety, and restraint in AI development. The entity actively telling the world that we need to slow down with artificial intelligence is simultaneously executing the fastest commercial expansion in human history. This creates a jarring split personality. On one side, you have careful public branding, filled with safety frameworks and red tape. On the other, you have the aggressive, hyper-capitalist reality of a machine printing billions of dollars in a matter of weeks. To understand this tension, listen to Anthropic's executives. They have explicitly compared the danger of artificial intelligence to the invention of nuclear weapons. By using that specific comparison, they are telling the public that their software is not a standard consumer tool. They are framing it as a potential existential threat to humanity. Which leads to a fairly obvious ethical question. If a private business believes they are building something with the destructive capacity of a nuclear bomb, what right do they have to build it for corporate profit? Scaling revenue by $11 billion in 3 months generates a massive gravitational pull. That intense capitalistic momentum actively competes with the time, patience, and resources required to actually build rigorous, slow safety guardrails. Beyond the ethics, there is the raw, physical logistics. This diagram illustrates a standard server network map. When a commercial footprint doubles in 90 days, these nodes have to multiply at a breakneck pace. The connections grow dense, chaotic, and heavily strained. Running at this temperature creates severe mechanical risk. Systems compounding by the day easily outpace their management architecture. Under this pressure, the network's safety is actively threatened. Resources needed for oversight are pitted directly against the sheer demand of the rapid growth itself. Taking in $20 billion is a massive financial victory, but in the context of advanced artificial intelligence, extreme growth acts as an active threat multiplier that compromises the safety of the entire system. Despite these risks, Anthropic's leadership maintains a utopian vision for their work. The CEO insists that artificial intelligence has the capacity to produce what he calls a country of geniuses in a data center. But if you step outside of Silicon Valley, the sociological reality is entirely different. Corporate optimism is crashing directly into a wall of deep-seated public skepticism. This horizontal bar chart ranks public disapproval of various global institutions. If you look at the polling data for Americans, the bar representing artificial intelligence extends further than nearly every other individual or institution on the planet. That vertical dotted line represents the historical average for skepticism toward new consumer technologies. The pushback against AI shoots massively past the norm. It is extremely rare for a new tool to generate this level of immediate institutional distrust. This trust gap is the result of a visible contradiction. The public is watching a company issue grave warnings of existential doom, while simultaneously processing $20 billion in annual revenue. From the outside looking in, the math speaks louder than the press releases. The historical drive for profit is clearly, visibly overriding the company's own safety manual. This business model scales world-altering risks at a velocity with no historical record. The ultimate test is whether society can remain stable under that pressure.